Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for Game 2 of the series between Dignitas and Cloud9. And if you missed it, Dignitas had a big dig statement, baby. They swung and they thrashed Cloud9 hard. And now Cloud9 are on the back foot going into the second game.
Yeah, and we saw a stat. This is the first time that Dignitas has won a game against Cloud9 since
2017.
2017. You know how many years that is?
7.
That's 7 years. The secret was just getting a bunch of guys who used to play on Cloud9, apparently.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. If you can't beat them, well, you make
So this is an interesting question that it brings up, especially if Dig is able to win the next game of the series. We have a poll. We want chat to tell us, yes or no, is Dig a super team? Now, again, or sorry, we're going to run the poll in game. Apologies. But the question itself is interesting because if you looked at the peaks of all these players, Licorice is the last time he played, first team All-Pro.
Yep.
Jensen consistently going to Worlds. Last time Zven was AD carry, he was incredible. Spica, former MVP. My opinion is no, but I want to see what people have to say once we run the poll in game.
We are heading into the draft phase right now for Game 2. So far, I believe it's just the same bans for Cloud9. No changes in terms of bans. Still 3 marksmen. Dignitas, I imagine they'll go with the same ban as well in the Rumble. There it is. Salty run back coming in for Cloud9, maybe.
I mean, I would okay, there's a change.
There's a change.
Yeah, so they're not taking the Corki pinch. They say Jensen. It's weird though because like the Corki got a solo kill onto the Taliyah and then was a driving force in a lot of the game. I would say it was the Nidalee that didn't work out, but I do wonder if this is a jungle Taliyah and they're still going to go with something different for Jojo. It's a flexible pick, and it pushes Jensen's champions down a bit, but Jensen can also just play Corki. They can do Corki Varus and have both for days. We'll see.
Yeah. The other option is maybe Cloud9 takes a page out of Dignitas' book and goes for the buy to guarantee that lockdown combo, because one of the things that was really hurting Cloud9 is, yes, you have jojopyun who was super fed on the Corki, but he had no guaranteed reliable lockdown to follow up on. The solar flares were whiffing, VULCAN couldn't get in range to follow up, and even when he did, he was way too deep, and jojopyun did not have the safety to follow up on the engage.
Absolutely. If this Sejuani hover is to end up being locked in, that's a full pivot, I'd say, for Cloud9. Going back towards a tank facilitating jungler for the rest of the team, and that's true. So we know the mid lane matchup now, Taliyah versus Hwei, just a standard control mage mirror, basically. Jensen going to have a little bit less pressure around level 5 or 6, but maybe more long-range team fight damage towards the end of the game. Huh, that's a big pivot for Cloud9.
Yeah. I mean, they shifted away from trying to snowball their lanes and using a jungler that benefits off of high-pressure lanes into, all right, Blaber, we need you to start leading the engage. You are on team fight duty. You're going to be the first one chucking and fishing for ultis to see if they connect. And there is the Zeri for Berserker. Quick question, Jatt. Do you know how many pentakills Berserker has gotten?
On Zeri?
Yep.
3. Is that right?
Yep, that's
right. I think Kobe said that earlier in the day. I have no idea why he was talking about Berserker Zeri, but I heard that stat earlier.
I have a lot of trivia stats to question you throughout the series.
Oh, this will be fun.
To pass the time, because I know you're infamous for that. And it looks like Dignitas are going to go back to the tried and true. Spica on the Vi, definitely dove a little deep a couple times, but you know what? That is the name of the game when you are playing for Vi.
Yeah. It's comfortable. It's a little bit more dangerous when you're flying in through a Sejuani who's going to be pretty tanky, and also if you can't one-shot that Zeri. But, like, the Vi is the pick into Zeri. Like, Dignitas has had responses for what C9 has thrown at them so far.
Now, Dignitas are doing the right thing and trying to aim at any enchanter supports that would pair really nicely with the Zeri. Lulu already taken off the table, whereas Cloud9 know that Dignitas have not locked in their support. I don't think Isles is going to get fancy with the Hwei and, you know, do a barrel and lock in the Hwei support. I think he's going to be on engage duty to follow up with Spica, so that Nautilus being taken off seems pretty right to me.
I would agree. I do think melee supports are back, though, for sure. Alistar is always going to be a good option, especially for VULCAN. It's one of his best picks historically, I think. The duo experience changes that came in a couple patches ago that allow the AD carry and support to keep up more with the overall level of the game, as well as the fact that you can build Warmogs first. And I think just that flexibility that it gives you in the mid game, having a tank initiator who can take a bunch of damage while you're posturing for position or clearing wards and then come back to the fight at full health is just, it's so much value packed into one position that doesn't even need farm. And I personally think we're going to see almost all melee supports as this meta progresses.
And I think Cloud9 might be setting up some type of bruiser pick, maybe a Camille for Thanatos. They're banning the Jax away, knowing that it is a strong counter pick into some of the top lane matchups. I'm not too familiar with the landscape as a jungle main myself, but for Dignitas, I don't know if they'll suss it out. They're going to see about just locking in their support, having to blind pick it, and boom! Hey, I feel smart. Let's go, baby.
And a Poppy support, probably. It's Poppy or Camille support, because either one of those could go top lane, in theory, depending on what Licorice tries to counterpick. I'd say Licorice is kind of stuck here, though, because Rakan, it's not that much beef, and when you have a Hwei, you need a tank in the top lane. So I think he kind of just has to pick K'Sante no matter what, which is why I think C9 was pretty comfortable just taking the Camille right away blind.
I think that's going to be nice for Thanatos. Obviously, on the K'Sante, it was his third most picked throughout Season 13 when he was playing in LCK Challengers, but didn't seem like he had a lot of agency to dictate the game outside of the laning phase. And this is Cloud9 saying, hey, you know what? Our jungler is going to play Sejuani. He can play towards your top side of the map. The melee stacking that permafrost to set up even easier ganks. If Thanatos can get ahead, maybe we get a chance to see why this guy was being invested to in the first place.
I mean, yeah, this would be the breakout game. Game one wasn't it, but the match can still be his. Sejuani, Camille, that's the combo if you want to play through topside, especially adding the Taliyah on top of it, because even if the K'Sante tries to play aggressive, even Taliyah can fly up, so it's very much set up to be a top lane focused game if that's the way Cloud9 wants to play it.
Coaches take to the stage. Cloud9 and Dignitas going into their second game of the series. Dignitas leading. We'll see how this second game plays out. Let's hit the rift.
All right, about to get into game two. Unfortunate update, as we have a lot of energy at the moment. Jensen couldn't change his runes, so they're going to speed run the draft again. Same picks, but it's going to be a couple minutes. It's just a couple minutes until we get into the game. Your hype is so ready, Raafaa.
I was holding the pose. I felt it in my bones. And then we got to do a remake. But I will commit. I will not let go of this pose until we are in game.
You're going to be there for a while, so...
It's okay. I'm committing to the bit, Jatt.
Keep talking.
Don't let my dreams be a meme.
Hold the note. Get it again! And just as long as you can until you pass out, right?
I'm fine. I'm making this look a lot more difficult than it actually is.
He's
I'm
just
totally
standing
fine.
here with this hand out.
Yeah. I'm definitely about to pop a vein in my neck, but it's totally fine, guys.
I love the intensity. Okay, they're back in draft. We'll be getting in the game pretty soon. Thanatos.
Yes.
The one player that didn't have a number of connections to everybody else on the team, because the entire Dignitas roster has numerous connections to multiple different players on Cloud9. Even Spica playing with VULCAN last year. But this Thanatos, young player, replacing Fudge, so much hype with his announcement, isn't able to do much in game one on K'Sante. But now they have Camille, Sejuani, Taliyah as a top side. Will they play towards it? Will they be able to play towards it? They will also have an insurance policy in Berserker on the bot side of Zeri. So I'd say Dignitas can really throw a wrench in the top side plans if the Varus is able to really establish lane dominance and require jungle attention from the side of C9. But I think the overall game plan for C9 is to enable Thanatos and really see what he can do in his first LCS day.
Yeah, as Chronicler mentioned at the top of the series, this guy was a multi-season MVP in the LCK Challengers League for 2022 spring and 2023 spring. He was also voted best top, I believe, towards the end of 2023 as well. I mean, this guy was hyped up for a reason. For anybody that didn't watch the LCK Challengers League, he, alongside Lucid and Hwei, were a massive trio that dominated pretty much the entirety of the Challengers League. They went first and second place a lot of the times throughout their run between 2022 and 2023. He even won the Kespa Cup as well with 2021.
Yeah, the whole time, by the way.
I'm committed!
We have the tapes. You can check the tapes. He's just holding it. We're close. The countdown is at 30 seconds for the actual draft. Then we'll go to the load screen, and then we'll be into the game. So just a little bit longer. Just imagine, you've been having to wait like 3 minutes to make it back into the LCS. Licorice had to wait 9 months to play another LCS game.
I'm doing it for Licorice. I'm doing it for Eric Ritchie, baby.
Zven had to wait 3 years to play AD carry again.
I'm doing it for Jesper.
Jensen got kicked from FlyQuest, man.
Oh, that sucked.
But he's back. He's one
back.
game up on C9.
Let's go, Nicholas.
All right.
Spica keeping it calm and cool. Jensen also taking a sip of water. This could be the last game of the series if Dignitas closes this one out. But Cloud9 with a new look in their team draft. More oriented towards helping Thanatos and giving him the key to the kingdom. Let's hit the race!
Well done. Well done.
I'm gonna pass out now.
A part of me wants a pause right now.
No, please.
Just
that
for
would've been
the
all for
sick
nothing.
comedy of it all. Okay, we're back. Game 2, Dignitas can close out the best-of-3 match against Cloud9 with the win here, or C9 can send it to Game 3. And this is the question we had to ask earlier. Is this Dig team a super team? It depends on your definition. I want to leave it ambiguous. Vote now in chat. If you looked at the peaks of all these players, I think you'd have a clear answer. If you have a different question for a super team, I have my answer, but we'll check in once chat votes.
All right, now that my right arm doesn't feel like it's about to fall off, we're getting some feeling back in there, all limbs.
You full sent it. I absolutely appreciate it. Day 1, opening day of LCS Summer, new format, new teams. It's worth it.
You got to do it big for the return of the summer split. Best of 3s, too. I'm so excited for everything that's to come. And it's only the first day of the first week. We still have plenty more action along the way over the next couple of months. And so far, nothing spicy once again in the level 1. No invades. I think there was a ward dropped by Cloud9 on the Raptor camp of Spica, so they will be able to track where he's going to end up when he is level 3.
Yeah, and I think more importantly, they really want to know where Spica starts in the jungle here, because ultimately, I think they're going to be trying to stack a wave top lane and bring as many people as they can to take down the Cassante at some point, but we're pretty far away from that, and it's really just about making sure they can get to a point where Thanatos feels safe to play aggressive in the lane as Camille. VULCAN taking a lot of poke there early on Poppy as well. Poppy support, I'd say if you watched MSI, Mickey made it look absolutely broken in certain instances, but I haven't seen that many players really make it shine. And he can stop 3 members of Dig.
Yeah.
With the steadfast presence, but you really just have to be super sharp on this pick to make it work, because it's not like he's got a Callista or something that he's able to shut down.
Yeah. You do have a lot of all-in power in the early laning phase, especially since he took that Hail of Blades. If you find the angle, flash, wall slam, try to just burst either the AD carry or the support down and see if you can go look for a summoner trade. Also, if VULCAN gets out of this laning phase early and looks for roams on the top side of the map, then it can get really dangerous for Jensen and Licorice.
I mean, Jensen missed the cannon, is over. Thumbs up from JoJo as well.
He's good.
Yeah, Jensen. So he got solo killed in game 1, didn't end up mattering. I'd say one thing about Jensen on stage is he is able to create like stabilizing forces in the game like after 10 minutes. So much attention can be put on the early laning, which I think JoJo, just generally speaking at this stage in both their careers, like JoJo is a better laner than Jensen, but Jensen's ability to keep his farm up, keep his gold up, and always contribute in teamfights is almost unmatched, I'd say, for mid laners in the LCS.
I mean, we saw a testament to that in their last playoff series in spring, where I think Jensen didn't drop a single death in the entire FlyQuest series against Cloud9,
yeah.
and JoJo didn't get a single kill either. And it looks like we got the results in from chat. They have said no. Dignitas is not a super team, and the fans are not happy in the Riot Games arena.
Hold on, I agree with this, and it's not a bad thing if you're a Dig fan. Like, Cloud9 was called a super team last split, and look what happened to them. You need to keep expectations in a reasonable place if you want to have the success at the end of the day.
This is true. Super teams in NA do not have a great track record. So if you are a true Dig fan and you say Dignitas is not a super team, then they have better chances of doing well later on.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not. 3 of the players weren't in the league last split. Like, yes, their peaks are all there, but it is absolutely a prove it or lose it split for so many of these guys. Like, Licorice was first team all LCS top lane with Golden Guardians. The org gets deleted, and then he doesn't find a team for spring split. Now he's back, one up against Cloud9. Similar stories for Spica and Zven, just different ways of getting there, but they just didn't play last split, and they need to prove it before you're going to call them a super team, for sure.
I mean, there were so many rumors about where Spica was going to end up, but then the amount of slots in the team got deleted, as you already called it, with Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses leaving the league. That meant fewer spots for someone like Spica or someone like Zven to find a team. And Spica...
This is a good start for C9, though.
Hey, they wanted to start the Thanatos train early, but the all-out is going to bring VULCAN over the wall, but the Ignite, no way. Okay, JoJo's there for the reinforcements, and the Ignite gets the final tick, first blood over the VULCAN.
So that's 4 people. I don't know if it cost them a huge amount. That was just really good timing for that gank from Cloud9, because Licorice really was just trying to get level 6. He was trying to get the wave in, and he felt like if he get level 6, he'd be able to get out alive. He gets incredibly low before 6, so he can't fly over the wall in time, and C9's able to execute the kill. The one unfortunate thing for them, though, is the kill does go over to the support Poppy, so it's not necessarily going to slingshot Thanatos in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Licorice teleported immediately back into the lane, just crashed it, so he's actually going to be completely fine despite dying there and losing his ultimate.
Check this out, as Berserker's going to face check Isles. So Spica and the rest of Dignitas just took all of Blaber's bottom side jungle, so there's nothing to play for Cloud9. They'll get this dragon. However, Licorice, no flash, no ultimate. Thanatos just dinged 6, so Blaber can return and set up an easy kill for Thanatos, but it looks like he doesn't want to commit. They're just going to bully Licorice off the wave, as he does have a good freeze going on.
I mean, he had 75% health in Ninja Tabi. I don't know if just straight up ulting him in lane is going to be able to kill him unless you're actually bringing JoJo on that timer. So Licorice, good game sense, avoiding that gank, actually makes a roam here, and JoJo
flashing the fear from Jensen, crucial, as that could have been lights out for him.
Yeah, it looks like Blaber's going to be able to get the Void Grubs nonetheless. Licorice is going to say hi along the way, but he's got no backup.
I mean, Blaber should be able to get this once the W comes off cooldown, and the smite, if he needs it, secures all 3 grubs.
Yeah, generally speaking, that's a grub for Drake trade. Infernal Drake going over to Dignitas, and a little bit of interesting positioning. I'm looking at Isles down in the bot lane, actually, just getting vision down. So, am I reading that right? 87 to 60? No, 67. Oh, jeez. I was about to say,
you
that's
need glasses,
ridiculous.
Jatt?
Well, they changed the text. I'm not used to it yet. It's a new color. Everyone's adjusting to their new environment.
There you go, there you go.
Yeah, only up 7 CS, so pretty neutral bot lane.
Now for Dignitas, the next line of play, Spica is level 6, has Cease and Desist available. No flash on JoJo. He should be the next target. Cease and Desist follows up, and JoJo has no way out. Dignitas with their first kill of the game.
Got the flash from Licorice roam early. Jensen keeping the wave in a gankable position. Spica converting on that position. Well played across the board. That also takes JoJo off the map. So this stacked wave from Thanatos isn't a possible dive with the Taliyah jumping up. Allows Licorice to catch the wave. Overall, that's a very important kill for Dig.
As we talked about before, when you are playing Vi and every time you have that ultimate up and available, you need to be hunting for summoner spells, you need to be hunting for kills. That guarantees that you are still relevant as the game continues to progress. Blaber has not found a chance to use this ultimate, I believe, because he wasn't 6 when they made the first gank on Licorice early on. The nice thing with Sejuani ult versus Vi ulti it is non-committal. You fish, if you get something cool, you can follow up on the engage. If you don't, it's fine. You don't need to follow up as well. So Cloud9 are going to be thinking about where they can attack next. Licorice has all out, but still no flash, but it seems a little difficult to try and take him down, as Berserker's just going to pop the ulti and go in on Zven. But Isles is here to make sure that he can safely catch this wave.
Yeah, Zven just having to back up a bit. Berserker's ultimate's going to make him less lethal in a potential fight. VULCAN just hanging out. That's a lot of damage, actually.
Halo Blades plus the Zeri W. That's a nice amount of damage on the Isles. Both of these laners are chunked to below 50% HP. Not Zven anymore. He's now above it. I'm curious if Blaber's going to slink on over to the bottom side and look for a play and try to burn one of Sven's summoner spells, as he didn't have to burn any of them during that first game for a majority of that game. But Spica's here to protect it.
Yeah, good defense by Dignitas so far, as long as Blaber can't find an angle. There's a lot of summoner spells up for Dig. I think Blaber's still looking for this. JoJo's moving over as well. They might try and 4-man or at least push them off the way.
If you can do it from Fog and hit Isles before he has a chance to react, maybe it's the good play. Battle dancing over, JoJo's gun follows up, and the cleanse immediately used, but Zven cannot flash in time as he already used it to try and gain distance, but he still goes down. Both of the summoner spells gone. VULCAN tried to use the Keeper's Verdict to hit Jensen, but he teleports in safely. The Spiraling Despair is going to do a lot of damage onto the members of Cloud9, and Dignitas will answer back. They interrupt Blaber's Arctic Assault, but they still fall to the power of Berserker. Zeri, Jensen, can he carry this through for Dignitas? Finds the Searing Bolt onto the last member. Berserker, the only one to survive, but it's a triple for Jensen.
Jensen teleporting in to save the day. I feel like he landed absolutely everything. And that's the reason that was able to be a neutral play, because the setup here was so drawn out by Cloud9. They get Dignitas pushed back by using the Zeri ultimate. They bring the Taliyah over. They land everything on his Zven. They kill him, and you think, all right, that's a lost wave and maybe multiple turret plates. And this teleport from Jensen, VULCAN mistimes his ultimate, so that allows Jensen to close in on him a little bit. As they ult on a JoJo, Jensen is just dumping damage. Okay, he did miss one spell down in the bottom left there, so it wasn't absolutely everything. It was just everything but one. Lands the last Severing Bolt?
Severing Bolt, yeah. I misspoke. I said Siri.
I don't know any of the names.
Yeah.
So VULCAN there really regretting that missed Poppy ultimate, which would have prevented that triple kill in its entirety, and I think keeps Dignitas in this game.
Yeah. Side note, when Hwei first came out, that was a fun exercise to learn all 10 ability names plus the passive. That like, Flowers can attest to that as just like, oh man, all right, well, 3 abilities on Q, 3 abilities on W, 3 abilities on E, and then ultimate plus passive. Good job we have to live as Cloud9 going to be making a trade once again. This time, it's the second dragon going their way, whereas Dignitas gets the second rotation of Grubs. And already, the community is talking, and they're saying, we cannot be sleeping on Jensen anymore, guys.
You just can't. I mean, he had a really good split on FlyQuest. He
yeah.
just wasn't good on Annie. Like, that's also fresh start for him on Dignitas here as the caster curse commences.
This is not just the caster curse, Jatt. It is the community curse. They hype him up, and then he is got overextended, flashing away, and it still doesn't matter.
Ah, first turret likely going over to C9 here as well. More gold for JoJo from the turret plates. A couple of actually, to me, promising things about Cloud9, about what they've done in the last 5 minutes, even if Jensen did get the triple kill and it did backfire a little bit. It's their ability to create their own play. And I think that's one of the biggest things that stopped them from ever coming from a 15-minute gold deficit to win a game. And there was no Dragon up, there was no Scuttle Crab, there was no Rift Herald up, and they created 2 plays around bot lane here. One got them the first kill and then the triple kill for Jensen, and the second there actually ended up killing Jensen. But if they can set up the map into positions where they can actually get things happening without like needing a dragon to be there, it's a really good sign, because they're so good in lane and they're such talented players.
Oh, seismic shove off of VULCAN's wall slam. Spica might be in trouble. The Ignite and the Keeper's Verdict interrupting his Vault Breaker. One more threaded volley would do the trick. But Berserker cannot get in range. The W tags him and he pops the ulti. A couple more on attacks. There it is. Spiraling Despair dissuades him from participating in the fight and completely deletes him. Jensen and Isles trying to fight on back. The VULCAN's a little too tanky for them to take down.
What happened to Berserker. He just got blew up. He got Hwei right there in the eventual chase. Spica lasted so long. That again looked like it was going to be a really good play for Cloud9, but it's just, at the end of the day, more gold over to Jensen. Let's see what happens here. So VULCAN just keeping him around. Jojo dumps a lot of damage. And then if they could kill him here, it ends up being a really clean play. But then the extended play, Berserker flies over. I just want to see, okay, name these Hwei abilities.
Sparkling Despair and Severing Bolt. I mean, that...
Just at the same time.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Because it's all about the passive as well. When you get two abilities hitting on the same target, it deals bonus damage, and the Severing Bolt, I think, also does execute damage, or at least more when it's below a certain HP threshold. So that will always catch you. I think the other thing that caught Berserker by surprise is after the triple kill, Jensen got super accelerated. jojopyun in that fight was on components, whereas Jensen still had a full Archangel staff. It's still not a Seraph's quite yet, but just having that extra AP at this point in time definitely is just going to eclipse them in the power curve as Islesden is in a world of trouble. The Chain of Corruption goes wide. Nobody on Cloud9 gets punished as they just take the clean kill.
Huge play. Look where Thanatos is. He's been pushing the bot lane the entire time. That was a 4v5 where they picked up a kill. Like, the fact that Dig sat 5v4, didn't get anything happen, actually had a negative play happen is a disaster, but VULCAN gives one right back. Trying to get vision. Still a good game state for Cloud9 overall, though. They're pressuring side lanes way more than they did in the previous game. They have a lot of threat on mid-wave because they always have the side lanes pressed in, and the Camille or the Taliyah, if they ever go into Fog of War, can threaten the mid lane. So it's just making it much harder for Dig to play the map, and I think as a result of that, even though Jensen has 4 kills, the team itself, Dignitas, is down 1,500 gold.
Yep. Next dragon is not spawning for another minute and some change. Rift Herald, I think, was already taken by Blaber earlier. And then Cloud9, can they look to punish Licorice here? Blaber's in the area, but he was spotted, and Licorice is just going to throw out the teleport. He's not seen. Blaber checks the wrong bush. Didn't think that he would be in the alcove. Licorice gets out alive.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to throw a blind ult with the guest there. Can't fault him for that with Drake coming up in 45 seconds. Ocean Soul for the day. Not going to be a huge Drake for either team, but still a potential win condition if they are able to stack it and get the soul.
It's been a pretty even game so far. It hasn't been blown out by Dignitas like it did in game 1 towards the mid game. This time around, even though Cloud9 are just barely ahead of Dignitas in gold, it would help for the stats if they were able to close this game out. But obviously there is a lot of work to do, and clearly this is a far cry from what they drafted in game 1. A lot more objective setup and engage power now relies on Blaber's shoulders, so that VULCAN isn't the only one that has to be fishing for those picks.
Yeah, I will say Dig has more range, so if you try and 5v5 them or 4v4 them in the mid lane, a lot of times Dig will win the poke battle. I think C9 will need to be able to push side lanes and then collapse on them, or wait until Dig gets too aggressive checking space. But you can see there, even without Vi showing, they're able to push C9 out of river because of their range advantage from Hwei and Varus.
Thanatos has been doing that work on the bottom side of the map, knowing that Licorice has no teleport. Isles popping the quickness. They gets punted out by VULCAN, and now the rest of Dignitas trying to see if they can continue the engage. But no one from Dignitas can get in range to pull the trigger as the rest of Cloud9 back off from the fight.
Blaber's Sejuani ultimate went in the wrong direction, for sure. He threw that backwards. So a little bit of a finger fumble by Blaber there, and it doesn't look like C9 is going to be able to do anything with that side lane pressure that they had from Thanatos. He actually just has to reset to base, and Dig just wrestled control of that Drake away from C9.
Yeah, they took away one of the long-range engages from Cloud9, also his flash, and now Blaber, despite being a tank, his first item is really a support item, so he's not as tanky as you would think at this point in the game. So he cannot be the one stepping up, and if both he and VULCAN are not willing to contest, then yeah, these objectives are super easy for Dignitas to control.
Yeah, really important split for Blaber coming up. I think obviously everyone was disappointed with their spring split performance, as Isles is just fighting for vision, and C9 is right back to trying to pressure side lanes. But Blaber definitely had one of his worst splits in a while, not making, I don't know if he made any definitely didn't make first or second team All-Pro.
Yeah.
He's further down that ranking than I've seen him for years. Game 1 here, 1-7 on Italy. Game 2 here on Sejuani, wanting to get the win. And here comes Spica.
Decent assist right on the JoJo. He flashes away in time. Isles is in trouble, dancing away. But Spica doesn't have that mobility or the flexibility to get out alive once he commits. Thanatos is onto the back line. Pops the Hexa ultimatum looking for one more. But he dives too deep and doesn't respect the damage from Jensen. Licorice from the side. Picks off Berserker. And now Cloud9 are on the run.
Oh, Thanatos goes too deep. He saw the kill, ends up falling to the turret, and what had started with the Spica kill ends up 2-1 in Dignitas' favor. More Hwei damage. I want to watch this one more time because the look seemed pretty good. Varus ult into Vi ult, but JoJo doesn't get bursted out. Seraph Shield comes in huge for him there. And then right here, Berserker's ult still running. Thanatos wants to go all the way in on Jensen, but when he ults, C9 has to back up because Jensen's landed a bunch of spells on a Berserker, and Licorice has actually found his entry into the fight. So Zven gets a chuckle out of that one because that was not a winning situation, but they come out of it with an extra kill.
Yeah. Cloud9 are still slightly ahead in gold, but it's nothing to run away with the game with just yet. Dignitas still very competitive with Cloud9 in this second game of the series. As the Baron has just spawned, the rest of Dignitas seem like they are setting up a hover play to make sure that Jensen can crash this wave safely, maybe contest for tier 1, but as Cloud9 start to shift their members from mid to top side, they recognize it is no longer safe to take that fight.
Absolutely. This is the type of game that you want C9 to be able to win if you're a C9 fan, because they're going to be in a lot of states like this where they're slightly ahead at 20 minutes, but a couple things that have happened make you a little bit uneasy. Losing control of that third Drake when they got pushed out of mid lane, and the overchase on the last fight, but they still are able to create these winning map positions. They just have to be able to convert off of them. Deeper vision, actually execute the flanks in strong ways, and get the lead. I think right now with Baron up, it's not exactly something any team can rush. No one has crazy Baron damage, and the next Drake being in 2 minutes, you're just kind of holding steady and needing to see a strong Drake setup here for Cloud9 for the next Drake.
How much time can Cloud9 buy until the next Dragon to see if they can contest for it? Berserker is on 2 items. He doesn't have flash for the next fight, would have to wait another 2-3-ish minutes before he feels safe committing fully into the fight. The rest of Cloud9, no flash on jojopyun, no flash on VULCAN, no flash on Thanatos either. Blaber's the only one that has it, but this gives a plethora of options for Spica, who can commit with a cease and desist, and it's just incredibly easy for Jensen and Zven to follow up with their long-range poke.
Just looking at the waves, though, it's like so pushed in on top, so pushed in on bot, mid lane pretty deep. If they can get the vision line kind of up to here, it becomes a lot easier to start actually getting picks at Drake, but it's just so difficult for Dig to group up and feel safe because they're not winning either of the side lanes.
It seemed like it was working that well for Thanatos early on, but now, without a flash, it's a little more dangerous to be overextended on the side lane. He has teleport, so he can always join on the cross map if things get a little hairy for Cloud9. Keeper's Verdict will punt Spica away, and that buys enough time for Cloud9 to make this quick play on the tier 2.
Yep, some juicy gold in that tier 2 turret. 30 seconds until the next Drake, though. C9 might then end up being a little bit slow to that objective. Dig just needs to stick around a bit to make sure that it's not a Baron sneak. But then I think Dig is going to have pretty good position for this next Drake, even though it seems like a nice play for them to get that top turret. Oh, they actually overstayed in the top lane just now, trying to get Jensen, but Jensen threw some skill shots and pushed them back. So they're incredibly late. 5 seconds before Drake is not necessarily when you would want to recall. But with both teams being late, I think it's going to be a battle over that mid wave, much like we saw for the third Drake.
Yeah, and Berserker's the first one to touch it now. He can't really step up super aggressively because he has to take caution if Spica is waiting around. They didn't have vision of where the buy was sitting. No flash, meaning that he would be in a world of trouble if he didn't have a wall to skate on over away from the ultimate. So he's able to cautiously take it. The rest of Dignitas now trying to fight for posture in this bottom river. Berserker should be the first one to touch this wave again, but a teleport coming in from Jensen so he can join the fray. The rest of Cloud9 trying to fight for control, but Dignitas on the ones in the river, and that just makes it even more difficult for Cloud9 to contest.
Yeah, it is a little tricky. If you're the team to start Dragon and you're not ready to fight, sometimes it actually just opens the door for the other team to collapse on you, because they're doing this without mid or top prio. So that's actually how C9 could flank them.
Doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Not what they want to do.
But Cloud9 will try to brute force for this next wave. They're early crashing it, catching it high. The Weaver's Wall is going to cut off Dignitas. They don't necessarily need to engage. Just bully them away from the wave so that they can get this tier 2 and at least trade something for the Dragon.
So they're getting more gold. Here's the fight.
Thanatos on the Licorice, but not committing the ultimate quite yet. Dignitas are able to brute force their way through. Isles now looking for the counter engage with the quickness, but forced to jump away. Thanatos commits on the Licorice. He's already using the flash and takes him out with the second Q proc. As the rest of Dignitas now down a man. Do Cloud9 want to wager this game and look for the Baron?
Oh, Thanatos with some really clever dodges at the end of that fight after his aggressive play gives him the only kill. And that's going to mean they want to start this Baron straight up. There's a lot of cooldowns burned, no Varus ultimate, no Rakan ultimate, and that Baron's already half health.
Thanatos is coming in with the teleport, so he's able to join back at full HP. VULCAN, nice keeper's verdict, punch Spica away. They know that Spica was known for the king of Baron steals, even when he debuted back on TSM, they don't even give him that chance.
Get him straight out of there and get their biggest lead of the game. Most turrets down already outside of the base and wearing a Baron buff. They did give up soul point though, so it is important that they make something happen with this Baron buff to extend this gold lead to a point where they can have meaningful item differences on their carries, which they kind of have right now. 3 items on Taliyah, 3 items onto the Zeri, and 2.5 onto Thanatos, who really his aggressive play unlocked that entire sequence for C9.
Yep. Just a great pick opportunity, and Cloud9 just kind of punishing Dignitas for trying to brute force their way through the mid lane, not respecting the pick potential that Cloud9 had. Licorice still no flash, gonna get engaged on by Cloud9, but very tanky, can tank a lot of that damage, dropping to only 2/3 of his HP. Thanatos pushing in the mid wave. Rest of Cloud9 trying to lay the siege down through both of these minion waves.
Oh, Licorice has no flash, but oh, Thanatos jumped on.
Spica committing with the cease and desist. Isles and Zven all on top of him as well. Blaber cannot save, and the Glacial Prison is a little too late. Thanatos goes down, but it does come at the cost of Dig's tier 3 in the bottom lane.
I think if you're thinking about the worst and best things that happen when the other team has Baron, that's really high on the list for Dig. They traded the top turret for 2 turrets bot lane, sure, but then they get a kill onto Thanatos, and now we're even counter-pushing the mid lane with a numbers advantage.
First one away. Ooh, wait,
That's
what
a
landed?
Lot of damage on
that was
Jojo.
a nice root on the jojopyun, and he goes down. The Jensen spiraling despair. It's all disaster for Cloud9, and Dignitas have the push. They commit the flash over the wall and find Blaber as well. Spica laying down the pain, and Dignitas throw a knockout punch right back.
What a comeback there by Dignitas. 5,000 gold down, not having the Baron buff, and they just wipe C9 in the mid lane. If they had more minions, they could have taken that push extremely deep. Jensen continuing to land the skill shots. We're going to watch not the first pick, but the second pick here, where C9 is just trying to get back under their turret, but the first root lands, and that's kind of how this team composition works for Dig. If anyone gets the first CC, they're blowing up the rest of the team. Because the original pick onto Thanatos, I think at the start it was just like a vault breaker from Spica.
Yeah.
They changed that with Rakan, they changed that with Varus ultimate. He was dead before he could move. So a sneaky amount of CC against a team that only has 1 pair of Mercury treads, so kind of anyone they're landing that CC on, they're able to chain and kill.
Yeah, I was definitely rattling my brain to think, how did Jojo get rooted? But it is that EW, the Gaze of the Abyss. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember.
Hwei quiz for you today.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Spica's found another target on the Thanatos. No flash available for him, and he gets deleted by Zven. Another stellar game on this Varus. It has been a little more competitive from Cloud9's side as they're still ahead in gold, but Zven is still proving to be an absolute beast on this champion.
C9 was 5k up with Baron. Now they're 1k up with 4 players and facing Soul.
Glacial Prison right on top of Spica, trying to get the counter engage. The Weaver's Wall cuts Spica off from the support of Dignitas. and he gets taken down. Dragon is about to spawn in 30 seconds. Spica won't be up for another 40. This should be Cloud9's Dragon.
Oh, it's a banger alert, though, because it is 4v4, so Dig is not going to want C9 to even start this Dragon. They're going to try and push him off here and maybe buy some time for Spica to make it back. If they're too greedy, though, Thanatos will teleport in behind them, and then C9 will have a 5v4.
Yeah, there's multiple wards in the jungle quadrant right above. I think that's the wolf camp, or just to the left side as well. They have to respect any teleport flanks from Thanatos. He's actually just going to teleport to the mid wave instead. VULCAN taking a lot of damage from the Chain of Corruption to the poke.
Yeah, and Dig has so much range. They can't full commit, but if they can poke them out and get kills.
VULCAN goes down, but it's a trade of supports. Cloud9 still having Thanatos, so it's a 4-on-3 for now. Spica just respawned and is running from the base, but I don't think he's going to get in here in time. Maybe if Dignitas can find a lucky snipe, maybe Zven can channel his Unagumu Yushi, but he's already fired the arrow, and the secure is there for Blaber.
Jeez, they were moving up with a lot of confidence there for not having Spine. I thought they were going to try some type of fight, but just didn't have the tools. Oh, we got a game.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have an incredible series if C9's able to pull this one out and go to game 3, because this game itself is so incredibly close. Soul Point stopped by C9, but still this, like, I'd say early season jitters from Thanatos, like getting caught out in the side lane twice, but also making some incredible plays that opened up the game in the first place for Cloud9. And then just incredibly steady play from Jensen and Zven. Like, they are putting out so much long-range damage in any of these fights that Dig take.
Yeah, we have to remember that this is not just Thanatos' LCS debut. This is his Tier 1 debut, because he was in the LCK Challenger scene for so long under the D+ Kia banner, even back when they were DAM1 or DWG Kia Gaming, and he was on their academy team towards the tail end of 2020 before getting promoted up into the Challengers team in 2021. I mean, this guy has been under pretty much one org for so long, and then now being given that chance to play on a Tier 1 stage here in the LCS for Cloud9. And to be frank, this isn't the first time that Cloud9 has made an investment into an LCK Challengers prospect. You remember when Berserker came from T1, and he's had a remarkable career so far.
And speaking of which, you told me that Berserker has 3 Zeri pentakills in his career.
Yep.
These are some of the pentakill prerequisites.
Sure.
4 full 80 carry items at this stage in the game. He's very strong. If he doesn't get poked out at the beginning of the Ascendant fight, he could be a machine. Remember, Dig has a little bit more range, so they can outpoke them, but if C9 find a clean engage, they'd have the advantage, I'd say.
Yep. VULCAN is looming on the right side. Keeper's Verdict will punt one. They pop the spell shield from Zven, so he could be a target if he gets too close. Keeping his distance, fires an arrow. As the rest of Licorice's health bar is starting to evaporate, Thanatos locks him down. The all-out pulls him away, but he still goes down for his efforts. VULCAN picks up the kill, and the rest of Dignitas are on the run.
Varus ult missed there as Dig was trying to stop the engage, but Jojo goes very low. I think he just needs to reset, teleport back, and then maybe they think about making a play for Baron. C9 does kill it quite quickly with Berserker's current items.
Cloud9, do they want to start this Baron?
Berserker saved ult that whole time, so he still has it if Dig tries to fight.
He's ready for another pentakill to add to his career if he can find the angle for it. But Licorice would have to spawn and then give them another kill. 6k HP on the Baron. Cloud9 turn off of it. They don't want to take too much poke from both Zven and Jensen.
Don't want to flip it either with Licorice being up in 8 seconds. They don't know that Licorice doesn't have TP. The timer's close enough that he basically would have it when he spawns. Yeah, it's going to be up in 7 more seconds now that he's alive. So just the kill and a reset as the game intensity stays about the same.
It's awesome, man. I was talking to Patient Time backstage, and I said, Julian, my dream today is we get both series going to all 3 games.
Yeah.
And we are definitely in position for it if Cloud9 can close out this game. As VULCAN slams us into the wall, pops the quickness, it doesn't do a damn thing! The rest of Cloud9 pop him like a balloon, and the rest of Dignitas now have to work with only 4 members, while Cloud9 have the freedom to turn on this Baron.
And the engage now for Dig is so weak without Isle, so I think they might end up giving this Baron over. It's already at 6,000 health. Dig, they just can't contest it.
Yep. Dignitas, the best that they can do is go for the mid wave, and even Jojo threw out the Weaver's Wall to cut off that minion wave to stop it from crashing to the turret.
Okay, first Baron. Let's take ourselves back to about 8 minutes ago. They were 5,000 gold up, trying to push. Thanatos gets picked. It backfires. Dig closes the game. Round 2, how does C9 improve it this time? They have all 5 people in the same wave, just trying to brute force this turret down.
Keeper's verdict, they go for Zven, but he pops the cleanse and is able to get away, dodging the seismic shove with just a simple sidestep. But the tier 3 is fell on the top side of the map. Dignitas now have to dig deep and see if they can continue to withstand the line, or if Cloud9 will close out this game.
I don't know how they're going to play this, though, because they didn't actually kill the inhibitor, so they're not going to have a push in the top lane there. And I think because it's sole point for Dig, C9 just have to 5v5 this. With the Baron buff, it makes it easier for them to get mid push, but they're still going to have to be able to push Dig off of this objective, which it's been a struggle throughout the game. This series of events in this next 2 minutes could very well spell the end of the game.
Berserker poking over the wall with the W. Dignitas trying to find posture in this river. Licorice is the first target. Oh, it's Isles! It's Isles! Licorice still safe, but Isles getting popped once again. A 4v5 now in favor of Cloud9. Dragon is alive for the taking, and that surely should be theirs to secure.
Dig just doesn't have vision. And Isles is running around trying to get it, and C9 have just put a target on him. Pick him for Baron, pick him for Drake. Both teams now on soul point, but the gold lead for C9 increases.
It's getting incredibly difficult too. You can see that Isles is trying to move with Spica, trying to move with Licorice, and for Isles, he has a lot more mobility and flexibility to get out of sticky situations. The problem is he's not the most durable support either. Knight's Vow and Locket is only going to keep you alive for so long. Not having the income of a top lane tank like Licorice is playing on Cassante. And now the rest of Dignitas going to have to hold the line against Baron-empowered minions.
I mean, Spica, what are you doing, man? He's over by Raptors as C9 is pushing this inhibitor. I guess it's fine.
Not punished, it seems like, as Dignitas are able to stop the siege from the bottom lane inhibitor for now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, with a minute left on Baron buff, I thought C9 was going to play more aggressive there, but they may have ran out of wards and didn't have good vision in case Spica, came around the corner.
And just sent it for maybe Jojo or Berserker. I mean, both of them have Flash and, at least for Berserker's case, Cleanse, so they're extremely safe from just a single target pick from Dignitas. Yeah. They would have to be extremely out of position at this point to really go down in a fight.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if Dig wins this game, it has to be through picks.
Yep.
I think if you're entering into a 5v5 against this Camille and these Berserker Zeri items, I think you kind of just lose. So anytime C9 wants to make like a snap engage, it's likely going to work. But if you get outpoked or if you get picked, that's how Dignitas would have a match.
So it's up to Cloud9 to not dilly-dally and take their time in making the siege happen. As soon as they find an angle, you have to hard commit, you have to brute force before Dignitas stacks too much damage from the safety of long range. The rest of Cloud9, no more Baron buff on their side to make the siege even easier. Licorice is catching the wave on the top side of the map, still has teleport. Are there any wards that Cloud9 have to be concerned about if they overcommit and get flanked on by Licorice? There's a couple in this jump quadrant.
The Licorice flank is not that deadly because Berserker can just duel him at this point.
Yeah.
Berserker's so strong on Zeri. So Dig doesn't have that many options, to be completely honest. But I thought this game was going to be over 7 minutes ago when C9 had the first Baron and were pushing, but Dig managed to fight back. And Jensen does have 4 full mage items on Hwei. If anyone groups up, he's just going to kill everything.
This is very reminiscent of Cloud9's game against 100 Thieves during Spring Split, where it seemed like they had a strong lead. Berserker was on Zeri. He got a pentakill, but they couldn't close out the game. And then in one team fight, when the death timers are that long, if you mess up at that point in the game, all those efforts just completely washed away. So they have to be cautious.
Bloodthirster completed for Berserker now. Gonna make him even more lethal. New Bloodthirster as well, no crit. Just attack damage and a whole lot of lifesteal. As well as the overshield. You're right, this is the type of game C9 need to win. And it's the type of game that they had a hard time closing in spring. But in their defense, anecdotally, I feel like there's been a lot of really long games around the world.
Yeah.
Early on in Summer Split. Not sure exactly what it is. Might be held back. Blaber, watch out.
Base checking and gets hit by the Spiraling Despair. Thankfully, will not go down for the sake of Cloud9 fans who are feeling the stress and the anxiety of this never-ending seeming game.
That was good, though, for C9. He didn't burn anything. Warmog's going to bring him back up. Isles lost Ignite and Rakan.
Yeah.
So he won't have that when Baron spawns, and C9 might just use that as their way of creating a game-ending fight.
Cloud9 do have to be careful, though. They've been doing a great job of keeping Spica away from the Baron pit. They know his history of being able to be clutch and steal away these pinnacle objectives when it matters most in his career. And so far, Cloud9 haven't gotten a chance to bully him out of this jungle quadrant quite yet, but they're going to pull the trigger on the Baron now.
Yeah, no Rakan ultimate, no good vision for Dig. They get the Scryer's Boom, they know it's around, but there's just too much to keep him out of the pit.
Nice Weaver's Wall will keep Spica at bay, and VULCAN pops the Blast Cone. No one can get in. Baron is secured by Cloud9, and Soul Point is on the line in 10 seconds.
Yeah, but the wave's still heavily in favor of C9. Same situation here for Dig. Their patience is going to be running a little bit thin. Thanatos is threatening that inhibitor. He's just going to take it.
Yeah, Dignitas have to choose. Do you want to contest Soul, or do you want to save your base? Because Thanatos is making short work of this inhibitor, and he's got Baron-powered minions. He can look to end. He's actually teleporting to make sure that he can get out alive. And the rest of Cloud9, Thanatos going into the mid lane, gets locked down by Spica. Can they have enough damage to burst him out? Thanatos is barely going to live. Thank you, Ocean Soul. Cloud9 sends your gratitude as Dignitas do not get the pick on Thanatos.
Even the Guardian Angel would have kept him alive with the backup arriving from C9. It is seeming more and more inevitable that, as you wished, Raafaa, we're going to go a full 6 games in the first day of the best-of-3 LCS Summer Split. Bonus League of Legends coming at you if Cloud9 can close this one out. Here's the Weaver's Wall.
Then still has Flash and Cleanse, and he's got the spell shield from Edge of Night, so he's safe for now. Licorice tries to take up as much damage as he can, but he gets flipped by the seismic shove. He is taken out, and Berserker is going to flash forward. Tries to get some damage down, does not pop the ultimate quite yet. Rest of Cloud9 making the siege through all 3 lanes. As Isles is going to pop the quickness, Jojo flashing forward and getting the stasis down, protect him. Zven is taken out of the game. Cloud9 will not take this series away. Dignitas are going to have to fight back because Cloud9 are bringing it to game 3.
That is how Cloud9 respond in this best-of-3 series. They pivoted from their game 1 strategy, going and putting Blaber on Sejuani, scaling a bit more with the Camille Zeri, and eventually winning. I'd say the idealized version of Cloud9 would win that game faster, but you're going to take it at this situation. It means this next game decides it all between C9 and Dig.
And it's all about just progression and development for Cloud9 with Thanatos on the roster, with Reaper in as the coaching staff, and this is a nice step forward. As we have to remind ourselves, this is still a team that many predicted, even at the top of the season in spring, they're supposed to be a super team. They're supposed to be dominating the entire league. And while it wasn't the most decisive win, it's still a win, and it's a way to work forward.
It really is. Definitely a little bit happier faces for Cloud9 after this one. Good bounce-back game for them. Still 32 kills in 41 minutes, so even though it felt slow, not necessarily an incredibly passive game because the team fights ended up being so explosive.
Sure. Well, Jatt, let's take a look at this week's Pagoda moment featuring Thanatos' Camille.
Pagoda right here. This is what actually broke the game open originally for C9. It looked like Licorice was going to be able to escape because who would fly in to get this kill? But the flash follow, instead of immediately retreating, Thanatos goes in for one more E before flashing out. Clean, as they say, gets them the Baron and a big goal lead in this game.
Definitely had a lot of questions about Thanatos in game 1, but stepped up massively in game 2. Let's head on over to the LCS Lounge to break game 2 down.
Welcome back.
How you doing?
I'm good.
We got a trio up here.
Yeah, I know. we're losing members.
Producers really wanted that bear in there.
Yeah, I know. We just ruined everything.
Apologies.
So, C9 coming back.
Yes.
Took them a little long to close it out. I think the big thing for me is that Blaber was a lot more involved on his lanes. Obviously, part of that is the Sejuani pick, but then going topside, being able to set up Thanatos, so then he was a threat later on. There were a few times where he would be pushing inside lanes. So, yeah, that was a big thing for me.
That's kind of what I expected from, if we're talking about the identity of C9 coming into this split. You have Thanatos, a great carry top laner. They put themselves in a draft position where they had like both Poppy and Camille technically flexed. Maybe I don't want to see another support's like Camille's support, but like they were in a position where honestly it felt like a checkmate because we ended up seeing a Cassante into it.
Yeah. And I think, obviously, we still see Blaber kind of setting up a lot of these plays.
Yeah.
That Hwei was still very difficult to deal with.
And
there was one point where he was just popping people on the back line.
It was mostly off of this play because it didn't really turn into much for C9, if I remember correctly. And then if we go on longer in that replay, let's say it was very beneficial for Cloud9 that we cut it off, he actually got a triple kill, Jensen. So it was still a really competitive match. The problem was Dragon stacking plus a Camille on sides. But yeah, I agree with you. Like big +1 to Blaber Sejuani.
Yeah, and I think they actually could have pressured sides a lot more, especially so they wouldn't necessarily have to deal with the obviously large amounts of poke and damage coming from the Varus and Hwei.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see how this evolves into Game 3. But before we do that, Rez, while we wait and see who wins, let's see what our pros think of who will win Kia Rookie of the Year.
I could be a pro, to be honest.
I think the most likely to win Rookie of the Year is definitely Sniper. I feel like he had a pretty strong spring, and I think if he keeps growing on that, I feel like the award is his for sure.
I'll probably go with Sniper, I would assume. He's got that glaze on him.
Between Meech and Sniper.
I'm pretty confident in winning Rookie of the Year, yeah. Nobody's gonna take it from me. You know, like it's my reward. It's mine.
I think Masu is most likely to win Rookie of the Year, of course.
Masu? Masu is too good.
Me? I think I'll win Rookie of the Year. I'm not really worried about anyone else taking it from me.
I think Masu will win Rookie of the Year, but I think that's only because Tomio hadn't had his 2 splits.
I'm just gonna say Tomio again. Myself, of course. Outside myself, it would be probably Sniper, depending on how he does this split, because he had a really good performance in regular season in spring.
Most likely to win Rookie of the Year is Thanatos.
I'm hoping that Thanatos wins it. I'm really excited, and he's been pretty hyped, so I hope that he can deliver.
I choose Thanatos.
I think it's definitely going to be Thanatos. I'm voting Thanatos.